with Todd Istre. If you missed video number 1, make sure you go back and watch it. Todd is the quintessential guy who has built big businesses and yet maintains the ultimate freedom. Actually working maybe, as you say, maybe about an hour, less than an hour a week, which is phenomenal. So one of the things, Todd, that we talked about that keeps guys from doing this and getting to that level is they're not willing to give up control. You say, like, I have this conversation with guys more than any that come to me that want to elevate out of their business. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think the hardest part for entrepreneurs, any of us, right, is giving up control. It's something we built. It's something we care about passionately. And it's what I see when I talk to other business guys is they really struggle to give up control of their business. And I'll talk a little bit about that. I had a little bit of a problem with that in the very beginning. And because I don't feel that anybody could have done my job quite as good as I did. I think I was really good at it. But when I sat back and took a look at my daily schedule and what I was doing, I wasn't that happy. I mean, I love starting a business and building it from the beginning. But when I got to just running the business day to day, it wasn't that much fun. And that's what I was doing. And so once I took a look at it, it was pretty easy for me to say, okay, I'm okay with giving up control as long as I have the right person to take it over, right? And we had a previous video when I talked about that, but it's important. But I also think you need to remember it's also important that I don't think the person you pick will ever be as good as you are. At least in your eyes, they won't be, right? But what you got to remember is that there's a couple reasons to do it. One, it gives you the ultimate freedom, but you've got to understand that I don't think they'll ever be quite as good as you are. But if you want your freedom, they have to be to a certain level, and they have to be competent. They have to do a great job. They may not do a fantastic job, but it certainly gives you some freedom, all the freedom, right? And the second point that was important to me is I knew that if I wanted to sell my company, that if I was still in the grind day to day, working, when I sold it to, and I've sold everything, I've sold to private equity companies. When I sold it to them, they were going to require me to stay on for minimum 2, maybe 3, maybe 5 years under their new rules and regulations, which is intense. I don't think anybody really wants to. I don't think most people understand what that means. But I knew that if I had somebody in place running my company for minimum 2 years before I went to sell it, I would be able to walk away and maybe sit on the board, maybe work a couple hours a week, maybe answer phone calls. That was my goal. And so that to me was probably the second most important reason to give up control, was that I knew when I sold the company one day, they would not require me to stay on. So,
and I think you nailed it, Todd. It's the number one thing I find with entrepreneurs, particularly even integrators and COOs say this a lot. You know, why do visionaries and owners have such difficulty giving up control? But for you, you saw the big picture much more clearly about what you wanted with your life, but you're going all the way in your mind to the sell. I think a lot of guys are going, I just want to get out of the day-to-day kind of rat race of my business. And you went beyond that of going, well, what about when I want to sell this thing? And I love that. I think it definitely challenges us to think even longer term than some of us are. So great nuggets, Todd. Love it. Great to hang out with you, buddy.
You got it, buddy. Talk to you soon.